Viktor Frankl's little sentence. He said, between the stimulus and the response. The stimulus, that's the challenge. That's the tease. Okay? And between that stimulus and your response, there's a little space wherein you have the power to choose. Because in that space, you have freedom. See, as soon as you, look, you've all heard, for example, that, when a salesman says, well, or shall we go ahead and close the sale, and hands you the pen and says, go sign on the line. Or whoever responds first is a loser. Whoever reacts first, I'm sure you've heard that. Okay? And you also know that if someone teases you or challenges you, as soon as you react, you're a loser. See? If you react with resentment and say nothing, you're a loser. If you react with anger, you're a loser. If you react with umbrage, see? Because you have been drawn into time and space. You've been drawn into the matrix of that tease. Okay? And once drawn in, see, then your energy becomes at its disposal. And it's struck first, so it has priority. And it'll take your energy. That's why bullies get stronger. When the cowards make bullies. Okay? Just like bullies make cowards, but a lot of people don't realize that the cowards make the bully. The shaking in their boots and the fear gives energy to the bully. Okay? You have to learn to respond from within. Not in response to the tease, but from within. Okay? So here's a little example. This is a kind of example that I've given many times, but I think you can understand it. Let's say you're a teenager and your mom asks you to take the garbage out. Okay? But she says it in a really mean, bossy way. Okay? Well, there's a tendency to what? To resent your mom. Okay? You resent your mom. See, it could be anybody. You could be an office worker, and the boss asks you to do something, but he asks you or she asks you in a very condescending way. Okay? Or it could be your partner. Your partner asks you to do something, but they ask in a demanding, demeaning kind of a way. I'm just making an example. Okay? So, most people will resent, 99% of the people will resent the demand. And then, but that resentment is the reaction. Okay? And then after that, you have only two choices, conform or, you don't have any choice anymore, really. You conform or rebel. And either way you've fallen. You've fallen into time and space. You've fallen from the moral high ground. The moral high ground is very, very important, very powerful. Very powerful. Okay? But you've fallen from the moral high ground, and now you're resentful. And when you're resentful, don't you feel inferior? It's because you are inferior to that to which you fell. So, someone asks you to do something and you resent it. And then what? Then you do it resentfully. See? Or you rebel and don't do it. You rebel out of anger and resentment. But can you see how both ways you're not free? But here's the way to do it. Somebody asks you to do something, but the tone of their voice is not so good. Okay? Take a mental step back and let a heartbeat go by. Take a step back, let a heartbeat go by. And then if you see that it's wise or right to do what they asked you to do, it's wise, it's proper, or it's right, then go ahead and do it. Not because they told you to, but because you see that it's wise. You see that it's the right thing to do. See? So you're actually moving from within, from within. You see the rightness of it, and so you do it. On the other hand, if someone asks you to do something, and you let a heartbeat go by, okay, and then you see that it's really not your job, or it's not something that you should do, or something like that, then you just say, no, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, in the case, so you see you're free to either do or not do. Okay. You're not under a compulsion. But as soon as you react, usually with resentment, now all of a sudden you've fallen into the realm of compulsivity. You either have to do it resentfully, grudgingly, see, or guiltily, feeling guilt for having resented them. Then you do it to appease the guilt, see, or you rebel and don't do it. See, a lot of people rebel, don't they? A lot of teenagers, they rebel because people have been bossy and they didn't know this little secret. It's actually in a couple of my books. Okay. I think it's in Putting the Forever Back in Love. I think it's in that book. A whole chapter. So now you get the idea. So now let's listen to what Viktor Frankl said again. Between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. Remember what I said? Take a step back, let a heartbeat go by. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. It's absolutely brilliant.